Howdy ACVers, Natalie here with episode 4 of Asian Culture Vulture's Bird Eye Review Show. Now, despite cyclonic winds, power outages and flying water tanks, I kid you not, my neighbour's water tank took to the sky and narrowly avoided hurtling through my living room window the other day, I have been, in front of my laptop, checking out what's got you talking these past few weeks. So today I'm giving my views on Dil Bechara, Indian Matchmaking and Bandish Bandits. But first, this month's entertainment news. Sushant Singh Rajput may have died, but the speculation over it refuses to. Over a month since news of Sushant taking his life hit our screens, the rumour mill continues to spin. With talk of Sushant's mental health, his girlfriend's role in his life, and key Bollywood figures speaking up about the dark side of the industry, you could not write a more compelling drama. Certainly not in Bollywood anyway. Joke. Personally, I think in these uncertain times of COVID-19, with the whole world having been turned upside down, conspiracy theories are taking a stronghold. In all areas. Critical thinking, rational discussion, and crucially evidence have taken a backseat, whilst accusation, hysteria, and desperate attempts to make sense of things which sometimes make no sense at all are in full effect. Talking of accusation, hysteria, and things that make no sense, Indian TV serials. Ye Rishta Kya Kehilata Hai on Disney Plus Hotstar went off air at the end of March due to COVID, but less than 4 months later, it's back daily, and episode 1 of season 66 had some excellent meme-worthy inclusions of love in this time of corona. Check this out. Finally, let's send some big love to Abhishek Bachchan, actor and star of recent release Breathe, which we talked about in our last episode. He is still in hospital, having tested positive for corona nearly 4 weeks ago. His dad, the inimitable Amitabh Bachchan, had also been admitted for the same, but was discharged after just 3 days. Abhishek has been sharing pics on Instagram of the scene around Nanavati Hospital in Mumbai. My suggestion though, Abhishek, maybe drop the hashtag #BePositive. Not the best blessing nowadays. If you like to keep up to date with the latest word on the entertainment streets, then hit subscribe on our Asian Culture Vulture YouTube channel and click the bell icon to be notified when future episodes and interviews drop. And now, on with the reviews.
एक था राजा, एक थी रानी, दोनों मर गए, खत्म कहानी. पर ये कहानी अधूरी है. इसे पूरा वो राजा और रानी करते हैं.
Dil Bechara up first, the last ever film release starring Sushant Singh Rajput. It was the biggest movie opener of all time for the Disney Plus Hotstar OTT platform.
हमारा नाम किसने रखा? किसी?
It's Kizzy. Now, although official numbers have not been released, an independent tracking firm estimates that if the same amount of people went to the cinema to watch it, it could have smashed the 100 crore club more than 10 times over. But that is just mere conjecture, because we didn't get to watch it in the cinema, did we? No, it's much easier to sit on your sofa, and of course much cheaper.
मेरी नानी बचपन में अक्सर मुझे ये कहानी सुनाया करती थी. एक था राजा, एक थी रानी, दोनों मर गए, खत्म कहानी.
Sushant Singh Rajput plays Mani, and Sanjana Sangi plays his rather innocent love interest Kizzy.
मेरा नाम किज़ी बासु है.
Whilst Mani is brash and outgoing, Kizzy is quiet and reserved. So obviously in Bollywood, the pair fall for each other.
तुम सेफ नहीं लगते. सीरियल किलर टाइप के लगते हो.
Both, though, have a shared black cloud overhead, having been diagnosed with cancers, and they're having to deal with the consequences.
मेरा नाम इमैनुअल राजकुमार जूनियर है. कुछ साल पहले मुझे ऑस्टियोसार्कोमा छू के निकल गया. But I'm a fighter.
The film is based on the 2012 novel The Fault in Our Stars, of which there is another film version, which I haven't seen. Neither have I read the original book. I can only critique the film as it stands on its own, not how it compares. And this is where it kind of gets tricky, because everything is so intertwined. Any film about someone battling cancer is going to emotionally engage me, basically make me cry, because I, like many of you, have lost someone close to me from the very same disease. Regardless of how great the story might be, or not, or how convincing the acting is, or not. And when it comes to the acting of Sushant Singh Rajput discussing his death and having films live on as someone's legacy, like is in the film, you can't help but equate it back to him, the person, and the tragedy of his own death.
जन्म कब लेना है और मरना कब है, हम डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते. पर कैसे जीना है, वो हम डिसाइड कर सकते हैं.
And so it's upsetting. But I question whether the film would have moved me quite as much if the situation were different, because it's clunky, oddly paced, and seemingly lacking at times in actual sense. The introduction of the two leads is illogical, the background and characterisation of Mani devoid, and the appearance of Saif Ali Khan surprising, yet pointless.
मैं serial killer, तुम serial killer.
And I didn't get the feeling either of a tragic love story of star-crossed lovers, usually one of my most favourite genres. Maybe, I don't know, because the love aspect was dialed down for an Indian audience, which doesn't really make sense, or simply there just wasn't enough crackle between the two leads.
Sorry?
Sorry का मतलब okay.
I hate to say it, but I was a touch disappointed. It's not terrible, just not what I'd hoped for. And maybe that's my own fault, in my own stars, that I came to the film with just too many expectations. 2.5 out of 5.
Sorry किसी बात से.
Netflix has a new series, which I would term almost structured reality, sort of like The Only Way is Essex, crossed with first dates in India.
Very nice person, understands sense of humor.
You know how I hate comedy.
Indian Matchmaking is an 8-part docu-series, according to the BBC, which blows the lid on arranged marriages and specifically the involvement of a matchmaker.
In India, the marriages, they are between two families. So the parents guide their children, and that is the work of a matchmaker. And I'm here to help them.
The star of the show is Seema Taparia, whose life seems pretty blooming fab, if I'm honest, jetting around the world, getting to nosy into people's lives, and then being paid a wedge to connect them to a life partner.
Matchmaking has become a tough job, but I'm trying my best.
In the series, we're introduced to the men and women who are, I was going to say looking for love, but that's not strictly true. For Akshay, it's his mum, who's basically on the hunt for a wife.
I'm really close to my mom and I wholeheartedly trust her judgment.
If it doesn't finalize, me and my husband are going to finalize the girl for him. That is what I have decided.
And Ankita,
This is a new process for me.
who realises that actually she's more interested in her career, and why not? The series shows us potential suitors who, quite frankly, I'd pay good money not to be introduced to.
So...
Hi.
The show bounces between India and the US, and it's definitely a certain strata of society who engage Seema Auntie for their own engagement. Which is interesting because you'd be forgiven for thinking this is a service only for the wealthy. But it's not.
They want everything.
Someone charming.
Equal to my pay or higher.
Adjustment is also important.
You have to be attracted to the person and the person has to be good. I don't think that it's a lot to ask for.
There is, if you look on Netflix, an earlier proper documentary called A Suitable Girl, in which Seema also appears along with her face-reading Punditji, oh yes, and mild-mannered husband.
I can't say it is fair or it is unfair. But girl have to take it like this only.
In that, the clientele is of a lower class and even includes her own daughter. That one-off documentary was directed by Smriti Mundra and Sarita Khurana, and it is Mundra who went on to create and direct Indian Matchmaking, with Seema the glue that holds it all together.
My efforts are meaningless if the stars are not aligned.
Accused of stereotyping, being sexist, casteist, regressive, or just plain inaccurate, Indian Matchmaking has divided opinion. Most agree on its cringe factor.
Here we are.
Yeah.
But people are split on how realistic it actually is. Now, as someone never having had the pleasure of an Indian matchmaking auntie, and being 40 years old, with baggage, probably never will, I can only go on the feedback of my friends in India, most of whom agree that they've encountered aspects or elements of the process and the attitudes it unveils.
Not for me. I will talk to you never.
So fickle-minded and fussy.
I would say that as a piece of television, it's engaging, entertaining, and thought-provoking.
I fill my time so that I don't sit and realize how single I am.
People were obviously chosen or cast, so they're going to represent an extreme of the spectrum. But just because they may not be the majority, I don't think it makes their situations any less real. So for me, 3 out of 5.
I live in North Carolina. You live in Austin. How does that work for you?
I want to see you again.
This is why I'm a matchmaker, giving happiness to others.
Lastly, but not necessarily leastly, let's shine a light on the Bandish Bandits. It's a 10-part series about the culture clash of pop music and Indian classical with some love.
Tamanna.
मैं राधे.
It stars newcomers Shreya Chaudhary and Ritwik Bhowmik, and oldcomer, that really doesn't sound quite right, Naseeruddin Shah. Shah is the head of a gharana, which, to my uncouth, ill-educated English understanding, is a kind of music school that you're born into.
आज से तुम सिर्फ राठौड़ घराने का संगीत गाओगे.
Sort of like the mafia, but with vocals.
मैं संगीत को अपना करियर बनाना चाहता हूँ. मैं पंडित जी की तरह संगीत सम्राट बनना चाहता हूँ.
His grandson Radhe is keen to continue in his grandfather's footsteps, but stumbles off balance when he meets Tamanna, a pushy pop star, item number chick.
गाना फ्लॉप हो गया है.
Tamanna realizes Radhe's talent, and Radhe is semi-willingly led astray.
तुम awesome हो, मैं awesome हूँ. तो मेरे अगले गाने के लिए तुम मेरे साथ गाओगे.
Agreeing to make beautiful music with Tamanna, if you know what I mean.
I'll give you the full girlfriend experience.
Set in the exquisitely decadent surroundings of Jodhpur, the city itself almost another character within the series. Now, understandably, the soundtrack features heavily, with episode 2 pretty much an extended music video.
India, Dil Bechara, pehli baar, pop और classical में प्यार.
The use of music to further the narrative is a regular feature, and if you're familiar with Bollywood, this is going to make sense to you. If not, it will catch you off guard. It's this, I think, that makes Bandish Bandits a little bit different from other OTT offerings. The series is directed by Anand Tiwari, who is himself an actor as well as being a director, which may go some way to explaining the deviation from a typical OTT form. Earlier this week, our editor Sailesh Ram caught up with the two leads as well as Anand, and you can hear just how excited the pair were about being involved in the show.
The fact that my show is going to be coming out in over 200 countries, I'm really excited.
There was this thing that I used to constantly do while shooting Bandish Bandits, is I have to wake up in the morning and tell myself, Ritik, you're a very lucky boy. There are lakhs, millions and billions of boys out there who want to do this part, who want to be on this set, who want to do this show. So you're a very lucky boy.
He's a very lucky boy.
और अगर वो तुमसे प्यार ना करे तो
थोड़ा चू कट जाएगा.
To see more of their chat, just head over to asianculturevulture.com or click here. And to watch the series, go to Amazon Prime. And is it me, or do both actors manage to actually look way better on the Zoom chat than they do in the show? How is that even possible? Anyways, Bandish Bandits for me doesn't quite hit the right note. Just 2 out of 5. And that's all for this episode. Next month, I'll be looking at a Pakistani female power series releasing on August 11th on Z5, and, well, you just have to wait and see. Do make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube and get involved. Just post your comments below. Until next time, stay safe, you cultured lot.